We're going to go to China now with Hugo Barra, who was the head of product of Android. And before calling Hugo, just to give you a preview, we'll have a whole session on hardware and how the hardware and software are merging together. That has been prepared by Brady Forrest, who is an expert in hardware. He has his own incubator on hardware startups, and I cannot wait for that. So that's going to be a very interesting end of the afternoon. So Hugo Barra has left, he was the head of Android at Google, to move to China. So we want to hear the story. That's the very first time he appears in public since he did that move. Hugo? Yeah, you're supposed to jump. And how are you, Hugo?
How are you, Blake? Nice to see you.
It's great to see you too, because you did, as I was just saying, you didn't appear at all in public since you decided to leave Google, right?
This is the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're glad that you choose the web and Paris for that. How is your Chinese?
你今天很帅. I'm just saying you look pretty handsome today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
你今天很帅.
Should I repeat that?
No. Oh. Then you'd be calling me handsome, which doesn't apply.
Oh, no, you're totally handsome. We can get there if you like. And how long have you been in China?
It's been 2 months, but it feels like quite a bit longer than that. It's a bit of a time warp effect.
It's so that's a huge change, right?
It's a massive change. I've been keeping a diary because China is completely insane. Literally, my mind is blown every single day, and there's so much new stuff and so many things that completely sort of change the way I see the world that I had to write it down. So actually,
let's have a look.
Yeah, I took some pieces out of my diary and I brought it over to you. Obviously, only the business aspects of it.
Fantastic.
And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how you see China. So I'm going to zoom through this.
What was the picture before that? That was cool.
It's already passed.
You can come back.
Oh.
Yeah, here you go.
Sorry.
All right.
That's my new corporate shot. Like I said, China is an amazing place. It is a parallel universe of sorts, and as it comes to tech, I don't think that anyone sort of understands the magnitude of the Chinese phenomenon. So I'm going to try to paint it in a few slides for you.
Please.
And I'm going to focus on product for the most part. So to start, the Chinese are incredibly well educated. 8 million college grads every year, compared to 3 million in the US, which is obviously a big number. Disposable income has been growing like crazy in China. It's 3 times, it tripled over the last 8 years. The Chinese society is now a very sort of capitalistic consuming society, which has fueled a lot of the internet growth, particularly in e-commerce. A lot of people have become very, very rich in China. The official number is 122 billionaires, which I think vastly underestimates the reality because there's a lot of private companies. That of course is only behind the U.S., but a lot of wealth.
You can see it in Paris. Like the tourists here are mostly Chinese.
And the real estate market. The real estate market is getting taken over by a lot of Chinese buyers here in Paris. In fact, my Airbnb landlord is Chinese.
In Paris?
In Paris, yeah. So internet, 600 million users, which is 50% growth in the last 3 years. 600 million internet users. And then even more interestingly, almost 500 million smartphone users in China today, which doubled from 6 months ago. Right, so that's the kind of
That's 6 months, that's not 1 year, yeah, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's an insane number, and we'll see what the mobile internet is doing in China in a second. Insane appetite for IPOs. These are 4 of the recent tech IPOs in China, and you can see, I mean, the first day of trading is amazing. If you look at Tunar, for example, it almost doubled in market cap on the first day of trading. Tunar, by the way, is the first internet company in China to IPO. The first internet company founded by a non-Chinese founder that IPO'd in China. Fritz is the man, and he's incredible. Very successful story, and there's many of these. And Talking about product for a second. So this is the popularity chart on both Android and iOS. All 10 apps that you see here are Chinese. There's not one Western app. So it's a very sort of proprietary world, if you will. 5 of the 10 top apps are from Tencent, which is an amazing internet company that a lot of people out west haven't even heard about. They make Qzone, QQ, WeChat, and the numbers are completely staggering. If you look at Qzone, for example, 600 million monthly active users. Monthly active users. That's the Facebook of China. QQ, which is the most popular instant messaging service, 500 million monthly active users in China. WeChat has been around for a little over 2 years. I'll talk about it in a second. Over 200 million monthly actives as well. That total number includes global, but it's mostly China. And also UC Browser, which is a very popular mobile browser. So the scale is just redefined in China. The numbers are just huge. Taobao is probably my favorite thing in the world. Taobao is part of Alibaba. It's the largest e-commerce company in the world. It's more than twice Amazon and eBay combined. $160 billion in revenues last year, and 800 or so million product listings, which is many times what you can get on Amazon. And you can get absolutely everything on Taobao. I'm furnishing my apartment in Beijing, and there's no reason to buy stuff anywhere other than on Taobao, because you get everything. Highest quality, highest selection, best prices, and so on. It's amazing. And you can get you can buy anything you want. You can pay your bills. You can buy movie tickets. You can buy airplane tickets. You can pay your cell phone bill. You can manage your personal finances, and the list goes on and on. It's a behemoth. Taobao, you'll hear that name over and over again. You can even buy wheatgrass and have it delivered the next day. Another example of the crazy scale of e-commerce in China is the Singles Day. So Singles Day is a really interesting social phenomenon. It's kind of the opposite of Valentine's Day. In Valentine's Day, you celebrate your sweetheart. In Singles Day, you celebrate being single. And of course, you do that by just buying online. And if you compare to Cyber Monday...
For yourself?
For yourself.
This is so creepy.
In fact,
you're so single and lonely that you buy yourself a gift. Wow.
And you celebrate.
There are a few different cultures.
And then you go on blind dates at night. But that's separately from the e-commerce phenomenon.
You go on blind dates.
Yeah.
That's popular.
You get set up, that night. Yeah, it's a popular phenomenon.
I want to hear all about it.
And the numbers are staggering. So Cyber Monday, which is the biggest e-commerce sales day in the U.S., is $2 billion.
Yep.
On Taobao and its sister site Tmall alone, Singles Day last month, November 11th, $5.7 billion in one day in sales, which is staggering. And almost $1 billion of that was from phones, people buying on Taobao and Tmall from their phones, right, which is a phenomenon that we haven't really experienced here out west quite as strongly yet. Xiaomi alone sold almost $100 million in product that one day on Taobao, on Tmall. Still on e-commerce, this is another phenomenal thing that we just can't imagine out here west, which is JD, formerly 360 Buy. They're the second largest e-commerce company, and they're much smaller than Taobao, but their thing is fast delivery. They deliver pretty much everything you can at worst case scenario next day. But they have a night delivery service. So if you order by 3 p.m., you can get it delivered between 7 and 10 p.m., which is, of course, when you're home.
So that's like Amazon Prime, but faster.
But faster, Prime, right?
Yes, super Prime.
And there's a new 3-hour delivery service.
They use a drone to deliver?
So they do even better than that, one might argue. They have a proprietary last mile thing, which is, of course, how they can accomplish this. They use their own infrastructure. It's vans and electric bikes. Now, the cool thing is that it's the same dude that comes to your house if you order every time. So you actually get to know the guy, you develop a relationship with them. A lot of the business is cash on delivery, so you have to pay the person when they arrive, and it's kind of nicer if you know the person that you're paying, you trust them, and so on. And the cool thing is that you can track where your stuff is, right? So, when it's going to get to your house.
So that's like Uber. You see it coming.
It's like Uber. You see it coming. Right, and as it goes from the van to the bike and so on, and you can get 3 hour. There's a 3-hour delivery service in a bunch of Chinese cities already. 3-hour delivery, right? This is the sophistication that Chinese e-commerce has reached. So pretty amazing. Alipay, which is another service of Alibaba, which owns Taobao, is a gigantic e-payment service. I think about 50% of all electronic payment transactions in China go through Alipay, and they're on a run rate of $1 trillion annually. Right? I mean, we're talking about $1 trillion now, finally. PayPal, if I'm not mistaken, is about 180 billion. Right? So they're a few times the size of PayPal. And it's not only
Amazing.
online. You can pay for your taxi in Beijing, for example, with Alipay. A lot of the taxi drivers already accept it. So it's pretty amazing. Social media in China is insane. It's completely ridiculous. Weibo from Sina.com is the most popular social network there. It's a microblogging service. People call it the Twitter of China. It has scale that we can't even believe. This is my page.
Yeah, so it's very similar, right?
Well, it's the same actually. That's the mobile version and the web version. And so the interesting story here is
on the right. That's Twitter, right?
On the right, that's the same thing. Oh, sorry. Oh, is that Twitter? Is that my Twitter page?
That looks like your Twitter page.
Yeah, that's my Twitter page.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
you wanted to compare, I guess.
That's my Twitter
page.
But
that looks very similar.
So now here's the thing. It took me years to get my, I'm not like you, so I have like 6,500 Twitter followers, and I think I have.
Well, you work for Google too, so.
And I have, I accumulated, I think, 40,000 followers on Google Plus over many years. Been working very hard, posting almost every day, like
come on, yeah,
really working hard. And 40,000 followers on Google Plus. On Sina Weibo, after 2 months, as a foreigner who posts almost always in English, I have 200,000 followers. Right? The scale.
What do you do when they reply to you?
Well, I ask for help. Sometimes they reply in English, so. You
think you're going to be fluent in Chinese soon?
I'm going to try. It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah. Reading and writing is very, very hard.
Must be
but there's technology.
So frustrating not to be able to interact like this. Like I don't even know how you do your shopping.
Yeah, but I wrote an Android app that allows me to use a two-finger swipe from the top of my screen, and it layers over like a semi-transparent panel on top of my screen that translates everything using Google Translate, right? And so I can read anything, and it's not great, but at least I know the gist.
Cool.
So technology helps a lot.
You seem very excited.
WeChat. A lot of people have probably heard of WeChat as the WhatsApp of Asia, but it's actually a lot more than that. My entire social life in China revolves around WeChat. Literally every single person I know, everyone I've met in China is on WeChat. So I don't use email, I don't use phone, I don't use text messaging to communicate with anyone, only WeChat. It's actually pretty refreshing when your entire social life is on one platform.
Why is it so successful?
It's actually a really good product. It's incredibly complete. You can do messaging, you can do group messaging. It has an Instagram type feature called Moments, which everyone uses, so you don't really need to go anywhere else.
Is there a Snapchat like?
There's nothing Snapchat like, but it also has these channels that you can follow. So you can follow, a particular news service, a brand, a celebrity, kind of like Twitter. There's a game center in it. I've not played many of their games, but they're pretty cool. You can put your bank card and your Alipay credentials in it, so you can actually buy inside of WeChat. So there's a famous McDonald's channel that you can actually buy McDonald's credits on WeChat, and then you get a discount when you pay at the store when you buy food at the McDonald's. We ran an experiment 2 weeks ago. We sold 150,000 phones on WeChat in 10 minutes. This is the kind of scale that you get in China. So pretty amazing. There's some epic marketing campaigns on Weibo as well. So this one's kind of funny.
What's happening here?
So she
puts a condom around.
Yeah, it was this torrential rain day in Beijing. It was horrible. All streets were inundated. So they did a marketing campaign where you actually buy a condom.
I'm saying she, but there's a lot of hair, so I don't think it's a she.
And it was a huge thing on Weibo. It was all over the place. What else? Didi is a great example of Chinese innovation. Didi is like one of the Uber types of China, but they've built it keeping sort of the local needs.
I had a really bad joke on the previous slide. I cannot do it. I was like, will I do this joke? No, I won't do this joke. No, sorry, keep going.
One of the problems in China is that addresses, like the address system, is not very rational. It's relatively common in Asia. It's even worse in Japan. So it's not easy to say, driver, come to this address. You kind of have to explain how to get there. So with Didi, as the passenger, you'll record a short audio message where you explain how to get to you, to the driver. Of course, they'll see your PIN, but then they have to really get to you, and they will use the audio message instructions. And then you use the audio message to leave a little offer for the driver as well. Like in peak hour, you offer them an extra 5 or 10 renminbi, on top of the taxi fare, so that they are a little bit more motivated to come get you. So it's kind of like a bidding system as well.
And so it's the tip before they show up.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's all,
you tip first.
Yeah, but it's all like informal. It's in the conversation, it's in the audio message, and so on.
Wow.
And almost every driver in Beijing has this app, and they actually run this app while they're in the taxi, even while you are being taken somewhere. So you keep hearing people like speaking when you are in the taxi. They actually most of the drivers bought smartphones so they could have this app. Really amazing. I'll skip this one.
Don't skip.
Okay, well, Qihoo 360 is a very interesting company. They're a security company. They give you free security software for your PC and for your phone. They have like 400 million users.
And then they sell it to the government.
For free. They probably are doing that, but no, just kidding. And then they use that as a distribution platform for other things, right? So it's an interesting company, let's put it that way.
Yep.
Momo is another phenomenal Chinese trend. It's kind of like a dating app, but not really. It's an app that you use to talk to strangers nearby. And the majority.
So we were using Voxer. It's kind of something like that.
But nearby,
audio?
people who are near you, right? You can see people by proximity, and it's about having a conversation about something that's hyperlocal, something that's happening right
based.
now. GPS based, yeah. And of course, it's a dating app as well.
Love it.
And it's got like almost 100 million users. It's insane.
100 million.
Android app stores is an amazing sort of economic phenomenon in China. There's no Google Play Store in China. It's not allowed by the government. So there's like 100 app stores, Android app stores in China.
Wait, what's not allowed by the government?
Google Play.
Okay.
Google Play Store doesn't exist in China.
But
so
there's an app store.
There's no standard way.
But on the iPhone, there is the Apple app.
There is, yeah. But
so Apple can get away with having an app store there, but not Google.
Apple's app store is closed and curated, so they can control what goes in. Google's isn't. It's an open platform.
They don't want that.
Which is a problem from the government's perspective. So that's why it's not allowed in China. And then, of course, big opportunity. So there's like 100 Android app stores in China, 10 of which are pretty big. In fact, very significant. Ours is one of them. One good example of that is 91. That's the name of the app store, which Baidu just bought a few months ago for like over $1 billion for an app store. And the model is really interesting. It's kind of like iTunes used to be in the early days. You install a client on your PC. It's not on your phone. It's actually on your PC. And then you connect your phone and you sort of sideload apps that way. Amazing business models around advertising, paid placement. Some of these app stores, certainly not 91, but some of these app stores are even a little shady. Like, you can pay an app store to magically make sure that your app shows up in someone's device without them even knowing, kind of thing. And it happens.
Okay, cool.
So just amazing new distribution models. And there's a lot more that I'll skip for now.
What was that about?
So that's just my favorite restaurant in Beijing.
Okay.
Dumplings. So anyways, that gives you a flavor on
this is very exciting.
China.
Should we all move to
you guys have to come. You guys have to come visit.
We should do a mini Le Web there and have you co-host it or something. Because we could have done the entire day here on your presentation.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're happy with your move? Why did you do the move?
Well,
because you're the head of Android. That's not a small job at Google.
I call it one of these perfect storm moments in life. I've wanted for a very long time to live in Asia, and particularly to experience China. All this crazy stuff. We should probably take this slide down.
Yeah, let's take the slides down.
And I've wanted to experience China for a very long time, and I've been working on Android for 3 years. I wanted to continue to work on Android for 3 years, but I've also wanted to learn how to run a business. I've been working in product management for my entire life. What about everything else? So I've always been curious about that. So this opportunity with Xiaomi came along, and it was perfect. I mean, Xiaomi. Think of shower. Xiaomi.
Shower me?
Not shower me.
Not shower me.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Yeah. Good one.
Thank you for your support, by the way.
And so it's a Xiaomi is actually a very unique sort of new kind of company that I don't think we've ever seen before. And it's kind of hard to explain, but it's essentially a software company. And they do everything like software companies do. I'm a software guy, so of course I like that. But the company's DNA is just really, really unique. It's really, really special.
So you wanted to show some things?
So I have some phones here, which I can show you, and I can also explain a little bit. This is Mi 3, so that's our latest device. So this is running. You might want to come around this way.
Yeah.
So this is our latest model. It's a 5-inch screen with there's 2 models of it. The one that you're holding is a Snapdragon 800 AC. AB.
You make the phone.
We design that phone. We control the entire supply chain, and we just have a partner manufacturing it. But we designed the whole thing. It's actually a model that's very similar to Apple. We control the entire supply chain very tightly.
Totally curated Android experience.
And, yeah. It is, and I'm saying from a supply chain perspective, it's a model similar to Apple's. It's very tightly controlled, so that cost and quality are pretty well managed. So that's it. That's the fastest Android smartphone in the world today. It's the fastest processor, the fastest Antutu benchmark.
It's fast.
It's a pretty phenomenal device. Then there's this guy here, which is Mi 2S. This is actually last year's model, but it's a little bit smaller. It's 4.3 inches. By the way, this is $280. Which is almost a third.
But this one has Play Store.
Yeah, so that one is because that's our Taiwan version, which does include Play Store. That's last year's model. You can see it's a little bit smaller. It's 4.3 inches. Snapdragon 600, which is also a really fast processor.
Sorry for showing your mail.
That's all right. And then this guy here, this is our entry model. We call this Red Rice. This is my favorite device, actually. It's a dual SIM phone. 4.7-inch screen, MediaTek quad-core processor, 720p screen, and you're probably showing some of my stuff there.
Sorry.
And it's an amazing device. 8-megapixel camera, like I said, dual SIM card, and we sell it for $110 in China, so it's really aggressively priced.
$100. Wow.
$110. That's right.
Cool. So you sell phones with software highly integrated.
Yeah, and I think probably the best way to explain sort of how unique this company is, it's a combination of a few interesting things, right? It's like the Google-style software approach to building everything, including hardware, meaning iterate very quickly, small, scrappy teams, move as fast as you can.
Yep.
And then you attach to that, as I said earlier, the Apple-style supply chain management. Yeah. Really tight control end-to-end so that you hit cost and quality where you want them to be.
And you like that? Because you're an Android guy.
Well, I'm talking about supply chain.
You're you're like saying that everything should be open, and I remember that.
Apple supply chain management is the best there is, right? So we're doing very similar things on the supply chain side.
So how many phones have you shipped?
And sorry, let me just say one last thing. And then like the other part of the business model, 2 other important parts really. One is like an Amazon-style B2C business. So we direct sell. So there's no, the cost of selling is very, very low, so that we can actually have a low margin business that's very sustainable. And then we do all of our marketing via social media. All of it.
Really?
So there's no marketing cost.
So you'd better speak Chinese to make your decisions.
That's right.
Soon, yeah.
We sold 7 million smartphones last year. We're on track to selling between 18 and 19 this year, and the number is not higher only because we can't make more of them than how many we've made. And then I think the other thing about our model that really fascinates me as a product guy is how user-focused we are. We have in China a user forum with 6 million members, 6 million people who want to talk about our products. And what they do is they give us feature suggestions, they file bug reports, they give us feedback, and it's a completely self-sustaining community managed by the members themselves. And then the sort of top members of that community bubble up all the feedback to our engineers, and then we build based on that feedback. So our product roadmap actually comes largely from the user community, which
How big is the team?
Very unique. So the company is about 4,000 employees. A large number of those are in logistics, customer support, after sales, repair service, and so on and so forth. And then we have a few hundred engineers. So it's a small team, relatively speaking.
It's a full team of 4,000 people. Yeah. Chinese scale again. And so is that going to work outside of China?
So we
or you don't.
Well, that's where I come in. So I'm joining the team to help us go outside of China. Of course, in the Android days with the Nexus program and so on, we were a global team. So that's what I'm trying to do, is help the team find markets and get into them as quickly as possible. We're going to go into Southeast Asia first. It's a similar market in many ways to China. There's actually also a lot of Chinese-speaking people, and it's close, right? So it's sort of relatively logistically easier to get in and be on the ground and so on and so forth. So that's the initial plan, and then beyond that, we'll see. There's a lot of work to be done.
I hear you have a Chinese name already.
So I do have a Chinese name, and it was crowdsourced on Weibo, like it was actually chosen by our users.
Oh, your users chose your name?
Yes.
Not your username, your name.
My sort of nickname, my Chinese nickname, which is Hugo, and that means tiger brother. Tiger brother. So I think it's cool.
Well, you look super happy. I'd love to visit you there.
You should come. I'm very, very excited.
And should we do our next startups there? Because this sounds so fascinating, and the scale. And
I think you should try.
But can you compete? Because you need, there are a ton of entrepreneurs and startups there, right?
There's.
Do we bring something different? Is that why they brought you in?
It
seems to me that we fell. Like when I'm sorry, but you were saying the top 20 apps are all Chinese. Wow. I don't think they need anyone from here or Silicon Valley there.
Yeah, well, I think they are a global-minded company. They want to be successful everywhere, like they have been in China. So, of course, they have to recruit outside of China as well. They have to hire people who understand user needs outside of China, who understand how to market outside of China, and so on. So I'm going to try and build that team. That's the plan.
That's fascinating, Hugo. Congratulations. And thank you so much for coming all the way from China.
Thank you.
You're here? You're around? Yeah?
Yeah, I'll be around, of course.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Hugo. Thank you, Hugo. I'll see you in a minute.